All right, let's move on to this beef. Y'all thought that was some beef. Oh, here we go. Cam Newton and Jason Whitlock are going at it right now. And I need somebody to make sense of this beef just because maybe I'm in the forest. Maybe I'm in the tree and I can't see that I'm in the forest. Somehow, some way I may be too close to call this one. But it looked like it started off. First of all, let's just name the characters. Jason Whitlock. I know what y'all gonna say. Good Lord, people don't like Jason Whitlock. And I've worked with him before. I like Jason Whitlock. I do understand when people want to regurgitate when they hear his name. Why? Because he puts hot sauce on everything, including cereal. And you're just like, damn, everything doesn't need a hot sauce. But that's Whitlock. And Cam Newton, one of my favorite creators out there literally is Cam Newton. I have watched 3-hour episodes of Cam Newton. And like, look, it ain't, yes, and I don't love it all, because I'm like, Cam, come on. Like the Corey Holcomb one, I was like, come on, Cam, come on. But the point is, I love Cam. But he inserted himself in the conversation off of the FS1 lawsuit, Joy Taylor in specific. Everyone came out and put the cape on for Joy Taylor in a way that was kind of blind to what the details were, because Jason Whitlock's like, I was there. I know what was real, what was fake, what was said, what was not. Let me take this one. You know, I'm David Ruffin. You know, let me sing this song. And Cam wanted to go at it, and they went back and forth. Seems like if you read the scoreboard, Cam is making himself look bad in conversation because he's talking about something, one, he may not know about, but two, why are you even going that hard for something you may not know about? But I just want to open it up to everybody because these are two people I do know, respect. Jason Whitlock, Cam Newton, where are you guys with this?
I would say, Justin, looking at the content, I think it has little to do with the subject matter and more to do about like the medium in terms of how media has kind of changed in terms of the way we go name calling back and forth. I think Cam's thing, when you look at the clip of Whitlock and his partner Steve Kim, it's not necessarily them disputing Cam's fact, but it's the way that they talk about Cam. As if, you know, we talked about here, no one in the league is a scrub. Right. But the way that they talk to Cam, I think the last thing I saw he talked about, just have the same energy. Because a lot of us, when we engage in this form of sports media, when we say stuff that we normally wouldn't say to the person's face. So as we talk about putting hot sauce on it, he certainly is escalated to a point where if you say that to someone in their face, it's probably going to be a brawl. And so I just think it's the sensationalism that Whitlock has been prone to do because he knows how to stir the pot. I think that's the reaction. In terms of Cam, speaking on Joy and all that stuff, like, look, if you don't know what's going on there, if you haven't worked in that environment, it's hard to really speak on it. And so Cam has to know his lane in terms of that place, but I would think the sensationalism of the conversation led Cam to respond the way they responded.
Great. Yeah, I usually don't agree with Whitlock in most of his takes, but I think on this one he was actually right. Because when he was speaking on Joy Taylor, he didn't really say anything about her that was like foul play. He was speaking on
talking about the peanut butter skin.
Right. So it was funny.
I mean, it was.
But that's not.
It was very sensationalized.
It was funny.
The big rack.
But
the
he
peanut
didn't
butter
disrespect
skin.
her. He didn't disrespect her, but it was funny.
I have not laughed out loud that many times. Dog, I can't stop laughing when he said like
that big rack with that peanut butter skin. He didn't disrespect her. It was funny though. It was funny.
I mean,
is that
he could have said that in a way.
Is it
disrespectful?
Is that what you're saying?
Big rack. I actually think that was the more respectful way of saying it, because we could have said that whole. There's other ways you could say that.
Okay. The big. Let me listen. First of all, we got two things here.
He might not think she
peanut
bad.
butter
He might
skin.
just think she got a big rack.
Isn't that like objectively saying you got skin close to the look of peanut butter? Now I get the big cans when people try to say, "Yo, that's not." But I was raised by my grandma too, and I'm not offended by it much, if anything. So I'm that guy. So please take everything going forward on this show. Like, it don't faze me. But peanut butter skin shouldn't faze anybody. Does it? Okay, so we got one off the table.
Big cans is the political way of saying it, man. It's nice. When you with your friends, do you say big cans or do you say it differently?
got some Chico Bitty, you know?
That's my point. That's my point.
Chico Bitties is worse
That's
than
my
saying big
point.
hands.
He could have said it a way more disrespectful way.
That's not what his friends. He's on the air.
That's why he said big
To
hands.
Bucky's point, Whitlock is saying, I'm going to bring my group text. My group text is alive. I'm going to talk like I talk amongst my friends because that's how I'm being authentic. Well, Cam is like, I'm presenting, I'm producing. You don't talk to her like that. You don't talk. But even if he does, what did he say? See, that's what Cam got caught up in, as we say, the window dressing. Cam got caught up in the motion. The play coming right in front of you. Why you care about the receiver going away? We just did that to make your eyes lose discipline. You lost discipline because you're like, Whitlock said this and this. But what did he really say? He's like, I was there. I've been heard that. I was there. That may be true. And Cam didn't give any credence to that. He kind of hid behind, well, you look that way or you couldn't be that guy. But if Joy is alleged to do what she was doing and it's true, she's that girl. He ain't got to be that guy. She's that gal. Because that gal messed with somebody, respectfully, Charlie, my homie. Whitlock look better than Charlie, I think. I don't even know how to say
Cam
it.
called himself Superman for a reason. He like wearing that cape.
Ooh.
He came in trying to save.
I want to
Don't
be
save.
Is that a wizard?
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her.
Cam was out here campaigning to get chose. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, it really struck me in a weird way.
But I feel like Cam did a little extra too because he's in that new role. He's trying to take that media to another. My mom always taught me, if you don't know nothing about nothing, be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Sometimes you ain't always got to insert yourself in
Grown folks business.
in some stuff. You can sit up there by everybody and be like, hey, I'm
You know how you know Whitlock won that though? Because if you ever having a back-to-back with somebody, it's just words. The first person to threaten the other person to a fight, you already lost.
Dog, locker room.
You already lost.
NARPS.
I got you.
Y'all got to know this in the locker room. Whenever somebody getting clowned, the first one that brings up money, lost.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he starts saying, I got my money,
You ain't got nothing to
lost.
say.
Feelings hurt.
I paid your wife is
Trade.
You talking about how much my taxes are? Like, that's not the response. And I knew from hello Cam was off base, and I'm like, Cam, don't do it. I like you. Like, oh, you gonna go down that hole? And he went down that hole, and then he doubled up on that hole because y'all stupid. I know what I'm picking. I know these words. So, cause the point is because y'all stupid. Cam, there's literally when people say there's an agenda in media and bias, I'm like, that sounds like some spooky thing, but the real is you get rewarded by a culture that is looking for you to say certain things, do certain things, be certain things, right? That's what it is. You know you can go certain places at work, no matter what it is, and get away with it. First thing we do when we check in, the reason why people are so reserved when they get to a new environment is because they checking in to see what I can get away with and what I can do. Like, you ain't gonna show them your full self, right? The first thing you're doing is like, what they want in here and what they ain't gonna allow. Because human beings are wired to get the most by doing the least. And then when you see Cam literally say, I'm just gonna take up for Joy and blast you, that's two different things. Why don't you just take up for Joy? What I gotta do with it? Like, and he was there? You imagine me talking about the Baltimore Bills game and blasting Lamar and then trying to overtake what he said about what happened. You fumbled because you trying to do too much. And he's like, no, I'm trying to switch the ball. And I just got caught slipping. Like, I don't understand that. So somebody please help me understand what's going on in the media, because this is a little civil war, the authentic voice. I'm in the basement. I'm at the crib. I built my own production studio. I'm at a network. I get censored. I can't say cans. I got to say, can't even say Tiggos. You off there.
Mr. Disrespectful.
Yeah. What's going on, like this civil war? Whitlock and Cam almost embodied to me the greater civil war. Network versus independent media.
They say mainstream, it would be MSM. Mainstream media versus independent. I think what you have is, we're in the midst of a crossroads, right? We have some people that don't trust mainstream media. Like, things that we grew up on, watching Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather, there are people that now, they don't believe in those things. They don't believe in ABC News and CBS News and NBC News and those things. And so what has happened is you had a bunch of independent content creators weigh in and offer opinions. And as our news shifted from we report the facts, you decide what the facts, you decide your opinion based on the facts that we presented, to have an opinionated news media where we lead you down certain ways to believe certain things is changed. And so when you have independent content creators who have the reach, social media and those things, it's impacted. And so that's where you have, and even when you look at Whitlock and Cam, they still, in this meme, are both on their independent things. It's not like Cam is lobbing those things from ESPN to Whitlock and he's responding from fear, like it's their own 4th and 1 versus Fearless, as opposed to like a
That's
traditional
kind of like
media.
in the Bible. I'm gonna give it to you. In the Bible, it says, "Be hot or cold, not lukewarm. I'll spit you out my mouth." So it basically is like pick a side. And like Cam is hybrid. He on ESPN on Fridays, and every other day he at 4th and 1 and Cam's production studio, all that great stuff. And I'm like, if you're trying to make them happy and yourself happy, there's gonna be moments where y'all both not gonna be happy. And this sounds like one of those moments where Cam tried to sound ESPN-ish more than he wanted to sound 4th and 1. And I like 4th and 1, Cam, because remember, those cats you smiling with now used to destroy you when you used to do this. Why is he making it all about himself? And now you're sitting right next to him. And like, look, I get it, because I've been on both sides myself, but you gotta pick a side. You know what I'm saying? You banging or you not? Like, don't walk out the house trying to be hybrid.
I think that most of the new content creators are trying to, instead of reporting the news, they're trying to create the news. They're trying to make it about themselves. Like, that's the whole issue or problem with what we call media today. Are they really media because they're on a podcast in their own basement and they have 1,000 followers? Some people call them media. I don't call them media. You know what I'm saying? But that's the reality of it.
The journalistic standards have changed. So
Absolutely.
Before, when I first started writing, I believed that writing, there was something noble about being a writer. Like, you were respected, particularly if you wrote for a news organization, whatever. People went to J school, you learn ethics and standards that came along with those things. Well, all of those norms have been wiped away. And there's been this mistrust that's been created when it comes to, look, man, we talk about people not wanting to fact check. You know, like we want alternative opinions and facts and those things. And so it's a different thing. But I think it's even bigger than just mainstream and independent. There's still a faction of folks that Cam is an athlete who is now taking his own story to media versus those who were traditional journalists and media members. There's still a discord.
There's a battle there.
Because when you think about the number of athletes that have podcasts that are taking control of their content, it's still a little different thing.
Don't forget,
in that regard too.
It's when we used to watch ESPN, right? Whoever said something, even the Jordan days, if they said something anywhere close to negative about Jordan, he would go come out, destroy him, whatever. We thought the same thing, right? If this person didn't like us on ESPN, CBS, Fox, our motivation was to get back at them. So now that we have all these athletes in this space, right, it's still a little, let me get back at the media content. And it's the resentment of this whole, of the politics of it.
Do you think the media takes it a little bit too far, some of the stuff they say?
They always
and
do.
Some of the stuff they do now because
they got
they
the
want
resentment because they didn't make it.
Exactly, or because they know if they get that, it's going to get the clicks.
Fact.
It's going to get the thing. Because sometimes
That's their
I feel
only
like,
way to get clicks.
Exactly. That's the part that's why I hate about some of the guys that are in the league and do the media stuff. Like Cam's been in them shoes. He's been in them locker room before. Sometimes with some stuff he says, like nobody
But
trying to do
Cam
that.
is not in the locker room anymore, so passing yards and touchdowns don't get me paid. What gets me paid is the nods from
still-
Stephen A. Smith and the executive producers up here. And that's what, look, I've been pulled that way, and I resisted it to the point where it was like, I'm not gonna be the top dog. It didn't mean I don't need to be working here. It's just like, I'm not about to kill a dude who's better than me.
It's good to hear that from your angle because I don't know that part. And hearing that from you, it helps me understand it better because that kind of helps me
You wanna know
understand
the
where he's
top
coming
dogs?
from now.
You ready? Let me give you this list.
Could you kill the top dog?
Oh, I could wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, forget my kids, forget the legacy, forget how I want to lead this world better than I got it. Let me tell y'all how to get this. And I would be this gonna sound crazy. I would be the biggest dude, because it's not hard. This is it. You know how the biggest dudes are? Listen to them. Jim Rohn. First of all, Jim Rohn make more than all these dudes. People don't understand. Jim Rohn is the dude. Forever. He
remember my little special idea.
He lived next to Kobe Bryant without playing any basketball. Jim Rohn. Colin Coward. Dan Patrick. Stephen A. Smith. Skip Bayless. That's our top 5 in the last few decades, right? Name the player. Bill Simmons. Name the player. Go. You know what? There's a whole disconnect and lack of respect for that process. And I met Stephen A. Smith when he first got on. We were doing the best damn sports show. I still was playing. I showed up with 38 chains on, big old Mitchell and Ness is on, like, what up? And I'm meeting this quiet guy in the green room. I'm like, oh, okay.
He was quiet?
Yes, I was on Best Damn. First time I met him.
He was on Best Damn?
Yeah. Wow. He did an interview with me. And I literally go in there, and it's like, I'm getting the fanfare because I'm still playing. He's just a Philadelphia Inquirer reporter. Say hi. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. We chilling. You know, donuts, bagels. We ain't talking much. We get on. The lights come on. And now I'm saying this for real, in real time. I was amazed. I was like, yo, he a beast. He is it. I'm not even thinking about broadcasting. I'm just doing it because John Sally the homie and I live close to LA. And I'm like, this guy, why isn't he bigger? And I saw him, and then he go back into the cave, like, oh, what's up? I was like, he turned it on. But theater. Yes, but you know what comes with that is, what is my ammo? I don't have experiences to pull on ammo, so I could pull you down to be my ammo so I can get up there. And that's what happened in the game. So when these guys are either already ahead of us or they're passing us by, you can see the guys who want to be next. Ryan Clark is losing his player pass by the day.
Yeah, I hate seeing
Emmanuel
that.
Acho by the day.
I hate seeing that.
Dog, and look, these are homies until they not. And if they not, I still ain't mad at them. Because I'm at the party too. You ain't gonna ever make me move, and I ain't gonna ever come at you like you crazy. But this is how it is. I know what they want to hear up top, and you know it too. Are you gonna say it?
Are the athletes? Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Well, real quick, I know we shifted a little bit, but back to what both of y'all said. Y'all made good points. We talking about the mainstream and the independent. The mainstream has changed a little bit, and then on it, like you said, the independent side, they're looking for the clickbait, so they're saying crazy things. With the Whitlock and Cam situation, I don't think it's a mainstream independent thing, but only on one side. I feel like because Joy Taylor was in the mainstream, the major networks kind of backed up off of it.
They didn't cover it.
They didn't address it. So now, when the independent is speaking out, his voice seems that much louder.
Yeah.
Because there's no opposition. Yeah. There's nobody on the other side talking about it. And that's
it.
where the mainstream could have stepped in. And they
But why would they step in it? Because they're going to step in it.
Because
they got their own skeletons,
yeah,
so I get it.
Because when they step in, it becomes bigger. It can lay in the weeds. It can exist on X and Facebook and IG. But if they address it on air, now it becomes a mainstream media.
Hold on, let me push back at that. This is the third lane, because I love the 2 lanes you created. Mainstream, independent. Independent is not weeds anymore. We just saw an election where at the end, the eve of, Joe Rogan says, we already knew it, but Joe Rogan says, I endorse Donald Trump. You go before that, the circuit of where Miss Harris went versus where Donald Trump went, and all of their media, the biggest media noise was coming from independents. It was her going on Get Like Daddy or something. I should know the name of it. It's a huge, Call Me Daddy. Right, she married to some dude went to Columbia. Salute, homie. So she's there, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna go on Rogan, and then you won't go on Rogan. And the conversation for the last 3 weeks of the lecture was, oh, you ducking Rogan. And like, these are huge influences. And I just wanna say, like, we're watching that shift. I still think mainstream is mainstream.
Yes,
like,
but it has shifted. And I personally think that we helped shift it. 2018, me and T.O. was the first football players to ever have a podcast, right? And since then, of course, I Am Athlete, Pivot, all that, and now you see every, of course, athlete have their own podcast.
Facts.
But it's it's over, if you ask me, because now the athlete can get to their fan base when they want and pitch what they want. So it doesn't matter what ESPN says, right? Kevin Durant can say, this is what I think about this situation. Or, right, Josh Allen can say what he wants about this situation. So the athlete can say whatever they want because of their own podcast, their own show, and because of their social media. I think that whole ESPN and ABC, all that
Let me
stuff
give you this,
is
and I'm
done.
going to give it to you next. Djokovic just finished a tennis match.
Yeah.
And at the end of the tennis match, he didn't speak to the media on court like normal, like tradition. And everybody was like, what the hell? And boo. And, you know, all of a sudden you negative, slander. You know, he went right to the tunnel and did just an IG Live. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you why. The guy had talked about me and my country and Serbia and all this stuff. He hadn't apologized. I told him to. The network hadn't apologized. I'm not doing it. I love you guys. Peace out. That's a whole different animal than before. And the fear is, wow, that's going to be the new media because these athletes can do it themselves. Without the third party, without the slant, let me put what I feel about that on top of what really happened. And I can't lie, dog. I got handcuffed for many years because I wouldn't put what they wanted to hear on top of that. I would put, no, I think that's what happened. Doesn't mean my takes were great. It just means that I wasn't going to ever add that layer of fluff that I knew would make y'all happy, but wasn't going to be authentic.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You don't want to make an enemy of me.
if you're doing that for
What?
years and years,
What? Yes, I do.
at a time before somebody's gonna be like, I don't want to deal with y'all no more. I'm gonna just put this message out myself, because then I can. We don't need you. I'm not worried